Hey guys, it's your girl Serena, and today in my kitchen we're gonna make donuts. And instead of kneading the dough by hand, you know what? I'm gonna use my bread machine to do the work of the kneading. Step closer, let's get some donuts on. All right, so listen, if you've seen my previous video where I made homemade dinner rolls, the ingredients are basically the same with the exception of no powdered milk for this one. For these donuts, you're gonna use whole milk. Now, before I tell you the ingredients, again, put the ingredients in your bread machine in the order in which I say. The dough comes out much better. All right, let's start with the milk. 2/3 cup of warm milk. Remember, if you have a thermometer, it should read about almost 110 degrees. 2/3 cup of warm milk, 1/4 cup of warm water, same temperature. 2½ teaspoons of yeast, 1/4 cup of sugar, 3 cups of bread flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, an egg at room temperature, and 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter that has been softened. Okay, let's apply these ingredients to the bread machine and get this dough rolling. Okay, let's apply the ingredients to the bread machine. We have the 2/3 cup of warm milk and the 1/4 cup of warm water. Then we're gonna do the 2½ teaspoons of yeast. Remember, we want this yeast to touch this warm milk and water for it to activate better. There we go, 2½. Okay, so after you see it starting to bubble up a little bit, that means I can even smell this yeast in here. It's perfect, it smells good. All right, now let's add the 1/4 cup of sugar. And now the 3 cups of flour. Ooh, the yeast is working nicely. Okay, let's get this flour in carefully. Now, like I said, the ingredients are basically the same with a few changes for the donuts compared to the dinner rolls that I made in a previous video. Now we're gonna put the 1 teaspoon of salt. Just so excited about these donuts, I'm not concentrating too well. 1 teaspoon of salt. Now let's do our egg. Perfect. And last but not least, the 4 tablespoons of warm, softened, unsalted butter. There, perfect. That butter is perfectly soft. Okay. On your program, look for the dough cycle. And mine is number 8. Press, oh. Plug it in, girl. All right, there we go. Program for the number 8. Hey, let's press start. Yes. Perfect. Okay. Be back in an hour and a half. All right, voila. The dough is ready. Let's make the donuts. This dough is perfect. All right, so put your dough on a baking mat or your counter, something non-stick, and just roll it out to about a 1/2 inch. This dough is so beautiful. So we're gonna roll it out, and then we're going to grab the donut cutter. If you don't have a donut cutter, you can use a glass or anything round to make your donuts. Okay, so as you can see, I started making the donuts, and I just want to show you guys something. Take your parchment paper and make little squares out of them, because the donut dough is very delicate. So when it comes time for frying, you can easily pick up the parchment paper with the donut on it and place it in the oil, which I will show you. Now, like I said, I started making the donuts. Oh my, aren't these the cutest things? They have to proof for another 20 minutes. You got the donut hole. I cannot wait to get these in the frying pan. See, they're very delicate. Again, place it on the piece of parchment paper. And then we're going to proof it in the oven for another 20 to 25 minutes. Okay, I covered it lightly with plastic wrap. I have my oven light on. And now I'm going to let this sit here, like I said, for about 20 minutes. The oven is warm. Again, if you don't want it if it's too warm, I preheated my oven to 200 15 minutes before it came out of the bread machine. So I can leave it halfway open, oven light on. This will stay in here for about another 20 to 25 minutes. And then we're gonna fry these babies up. Okay, so listen, while the donuts are in the oven and I'm wiping flour off of me, and the donuts are doing their second rising, we're gonna make two types of donuts, glaze and cinnamon sugar. So let me show you what I'm using to make these two types of donuts. All right, let's start off with the cinnamon sugar. Simple, 2 ingredients, about 3/4 cup of sugar and about 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. Now, everyone have their own taste palette, so you can put as much as you want or as little as you want, but this is what I put in mine. Okay, let's move this over. And for the glaze, I have here 2 cups of confectioner sugar and about 1/2 teaspoon of cornstarch. Then I'm going to add, I'm going to add milk and stir a little at a time because it's the consistency that you want. So far I'm putting in 2 tablespoons of milk. And let me stir it up. And if I think it's too thick, I will add more milk. And it's too thick. So let's add another tablespoon. It's 1. And another one for good luck, 2. So far there's 4 tablespoons of milk in my glaze. Yeah, that's actually good. And then for a little bit more flavor, I'm going to add about 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Okay, stir that up. And we're going to dip the donuts in this glaze as soon as they are finished. I love to glaze hot donuts. Perfect. Okay, let's put this aside until we are ready to fry the donuts. Okay, the dough is almost finished for the second rising. Get your thermometer if you have one. Get this oil up to about 350 to 375 degrees. You do not want it too hot because the donuts will burn. Okay, before you put your donuts in the oil, how about testing it out with one of the donut holes? If it starts to fry up, oh, look at that. Ooh, honey, that's cooking. Now you know your oil is ready, even if you don't have a thermometer. All right, the donut's all poofy and ready to roll. Carefully place your donut in the oil. Ooh, let me get it this way, because like I said, it's very sensitive. Do not crowd your frying pan, your pot. Fry them about 3 at a time. Well, these are gonna be so delicious. There we go, 3 at a time until golden brown. About 2 to 3 minutes on each side. All right, I have the holes left over. I started to put the toppings on it. Let's start off showing you here. The glaze, just dip it in on both sides. I like to do it when it's hot because it lays so nicely on it. Then I have the cinnamon sugar. Just kind of rub it around there. You know, just, hey, scrape it on there. Get it all good. And then put it back on your rack. And I have the donut holes almost ready. I'm just gonna shove it in the cinnamon sugar, like this. And then I'm gonna put the other ones in the glaze. Hold the presses. I came up with another way to use the glaze donut. Put some pure maple syrup in your glaze mixture. Top it with crispy bacon. You got a maple glaze bacon donut. Holla! Salt versus sweet. Oh my God. Before we get to these delicious, oh my goodness, donuts, I want to show you what not to do. Trial and error, especially if it's your first time making donuts. Hey, I made a mistake, so I have to show it to you so you know not to do it. The oil was a little bit too hot, so these came out just a little bit overcooked. You don't want Cajun style donuts, but they're probably still fluffy in the middle, but you don't really want them too burnt. You don't want a burnt taste. Now let's get to the real ones. Oh my gosh. All right, first let me start off with one of the glaze. I want to break it apart and show you the inside. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that fluffiness and how the glaze just oozes off because I put the glaze on when it was still nice and warm. I can't wait to get a bite of this. Glaze is my favorite donut. Look at that fluffy, delicious, airy donut. Okay, my turn. I'm so happy. I'm so happy right now. Hey, my daughter's laughing at me behind the camera there. I don't even care. It's so good. This is a fluffy donut. I'm serious. This is fluffy. The bread machine did most of the work. I just formed the donuts and fried them up, and it's so soft and fluffy and airy and not heavy at all. It's just so good. Now let's try the cinnamon. You know what? I'm gonna do a cinnamon ball. The little cinnamon ball. The whole thing in my mouth. Sugar cinnamon donuts. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Oh my gosh. Okay, listen. These donuts are great. Get yourself a bread machine if you don't have one. Much easier work, and you still get the better results using a machine and frying them up perfectly. I'd like to thank you for joining me because I'm gonna finish my donut and have a cup of coffee with it. Subscribe to my channel. Try these donuts. Leave me a comment and enjoy life. Ciao.